If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for coming by. And if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, thanks for coming back. This is the second installment in a series of Gig Geezer segments in which I'm going to be talking about large orders and catering order opportunities. And in the first segment, I shared with y'all how I had my largest catering order opportunity to date, which turned out to be my largest paying catering opportunity to date. And it also was my largest single gig earnings ever in the gig economy. This surpassed my largest rideshare opportunity and my largest food delivery opportunity, and also my largest last mile opportunity. And that's all on this thumbnail that you see here. Now, today being Saturday, October 22nd, I will be talking from the following apps: Dlivrd, Dlivrd, and DoorDash. And I'll be talking also from the Gig Studios about some other related items within this segment. Now, in the first segment, I mentioned how I believe that large order and catering opportunities do provide a decent bump in your gig hustle, in your gig grind day. Well, definitely yesterday provided me a hell of a head start in my day. In fact, that order, which paid $222.91, was accounted for a good portion of me making $427 yesterday, which is also the most I've ever made in a single day in the gig economy. My previous high was established back in August of 2020, in which I made $376 a day, and it had nothing to do with catering work at the time. On that particular day, I had no large order opportunities on the DoorDash app. The biggest portion of money earned that particular day was from Instacart. Well, I'm actually out here waiting for a regular on-demand order on the DoorDash app, but in about 30 minutes, I'll be picking up a catering order opportunity on the Dlivrd app. Now, this particular order, the order size is $77.49. This order is likely to pay, and I'm basing it on a few known metrics or factors. The base pay is $7, but with Dlivrd, and here's some information about Dlivrd with the phone number, and also a link in which if you may be interested in signing up or getting onboarded with Dlivrd, you can click in the description below, and Dlivrd will initiate you through the process. But one other thing with Dlivrd has never said this, and I don't think anybody else has ever mentioned it. In the onboarding process with Dlivrd, you will have to provide them a motor vehicle report. And for me, in the state of South Carolina, it was $10 or $9.99. So keep that in mind. That is an investment in your expanding your business as an independent contractor, sole proprietor, and this is something that you can also claim on your taxes. Now, I've shared a lot of stuff so far, but I'm going back to this particular order. This order, the base is $7, but the tip, I'm basing it on the tip pool being offered is between $24 and $27, and I'm going to base it on the mid number of $24. That is one of the I think one of the biggest selling points about Dlivrd. Not so much as them saying that they are a company by drivers for drivers, and I'm not questioning that philosophy. But I think one of the more immediate selling points is that the tip pool, however, despite how some people feel that it's not fair and it's socialism and all that, the tip pool makes up in situations when you're dealing with customers who don't tip or tip very little. And in my experience of doing some Dlivrd orders, I have delivered to those same people who did not tip worth a damn on the DoorDash app, in the Drive program, or in other large order program opportunities. But in the Dlivrd app, because of the tip pool, it made up for what would have been a very disappointing effort. Now, one of the misconceptions about large order catering opportunities is that you're going to make some money, cha-ching, cha-ching, and that's not always the case. And I keep saying this because I want to present that realistic picture. Now, had this been a DoorDash order, this would have been an order that would have qualified under the top dasher one of the benefits supposedly of being a top dasher, in which you would see more orders or have a priority of seeing orders that are $35 to $99 in customer order size. Well, I have argued that you go through all that you go through, the humiliation and shame and embarrassment of taking all those horrible $2.50, $3, $3.75, $4.50 orders, stacked orders for $4, just to attain the status of top dasher, because you've accepted all those orders, and then you get to have access to what's in many cases an average size order. And what do I mean by average size order? Well, you gotta understand that now DoorDash does not give you these numbers though, but according to industry sources, the average customer size order is anywhere between $35 and $50, and that orders that are above $50 are actually in a smaller percentage. So what we often kind of clamor about or brag about or present as a victory lap opportunity for these large orders, which are supposedly in size of $100 or more, they are the smaller percentage. I will say in a very generous term that those orders may comprise 15 to 20% of all the orders that come across. And so if you get an opportunity, great. Okay. You know, you qualified for the metric of being on the large order program, because when you were invited to come on board, you had completed over 200 lifetime deliveries. You had completed over 100 deliveries the previous month. You maintained a 95% or higher completion rate over the previous month. You had a customer rating of 4.7 or higher, and you showed proof of having catering bags. In fact, when I was invited on back in 2020, DoorDash sent me a couple of their, in fact, I got one right in front of me here, a couple of their brand catering size bags. But I went out, invested in myself, and bought 3 or 4 of those catering bags as well that were what DoorDash approved. So I'll get back with you once I picked up that order from PDQ. That's where it's coming from. Is the actual distance is probably about less than 10 minutes from the store, and we'll talk further about large order / catering order opportunities. The thing I want to share with folk is that there's actually work involved when you're doing these large order / catering order opportunities. Now, what a lot of us want to talk about is the money part, because normally these opportunities are going to actually pay more. According to DoorDash, for example, when you're in the large order program, these orders typically pay 2 to 3 times more than the regular on-demand order. And that may be true. Now, for example, yesterday, October 22nd, 2022, I had a large order opportunity during my first half hustle, in which the offer amount was $12. It was for 9 items from Hickory Tavern. The order paid $24.16. And I'm not going to say that's on the high end. That's probably more so like a anything from as low as $8 to $19.99 is on the low end. Anything from $20 to, I want to say, $34.99 is mid, and anything that pays between $35 and $50 is on the higher end, and anything over $50 is really good. And that's just based on my experience on the DoorDash app. And that's having completed, according to the app, over 5,200 deliveries. And so that order paid on the next tier of opportunities. And now, how does that compare? How does that relate to the Gig Geezer? Well, I shared in recent segment that my average order size to that point earlier this week had been, over the course of the last several weeks, about $16 and change. And that included orders from having completed from the large order program. I'm going to caution to say that is something else that I will also cover from the Gig Studio later on in this segment of the Gig Geezer. But speaking right now in real time, I want to say that my average order size outside of large order opportunities is somewhere around anywhere between $12 and $15. More so like around the $12 to $13 range. And so this order actually didn't pay then twice as much. But prior to yesterday, my average large order program opportunity had been somewhere in the $27 to $28 range. And so that if I base it on my averages over a course of several weeks prior, then that would be about right. Now, with Dlivrd, that again, this is something that I'll be sharing it from the Gig Studio. The largest paying opportunity that I've had on that app has been $62 and change. My next best paying opportunity since then has been about $44 and change, and that's come within the last couple of weeks. But I see more opportunities on the Dlivrd app in the $30 to $35 range. And it doesn't matter the order size. It can be as low as $85 on up to $900+. That's just how Dlivrd that works. So you have to make a decision if you want something like that as a part of your gig hustle options. And that was a decision that I made back in June when I onboarded with that platform. Now, with respect to work, yes, there is work involved with these large order / catering order program opportunities. The question is, how are you going to make it easier on yourself? Now, in the previous segment, and this is the thumbnail, one of the things that I invested in just prior to that $1,700 catering order opportunity, I made a $60 investment in a convertible hand cart. That hand cart came in handy when I had to carry that order. I didn't mention in that segment though, but that particular catering opportunity, they planned for 111 people. They had 12 1-gallon containers of soda, 4 bags of ice. We're talking easily 60-70 pounds worth of stuff. Now, I delivered that to an office building up to the 15th floor. Unfortunately, there was a functioning elevator. Now, I had to park on the street because we're dealing with a downtown parking situation and all. Now, can you imagine carrying all that to the elevator and then up to the 15th floor? So, yes, there is some physical work involved with that job. Then there's also the work of transporting the other items and then setting up the items as needed for the customer. Because in a lot of situations, the customer ain't going to help you. All they're going to do is point you to where you need to go, and then it's on you to set things up. And it'll be, thank you, and have a nice day. That's the way it is at a lot of places. And having delivered to a lot of the same customers, I kind of know where to go anyway. But do not think that there's any, you would be naive to think that there's not any work involved with this. So, what's another realistic factor? Again, the money part. Not all catering orders pay great. Not all of them. Now, we are actually about 5 minutes away from picking up the PDQ order. I just actually dropped off a DoorDash order that I had an offer amount of $9.75 and it paid $10. And previous to that, I had a Uber Eats order that was 3 items from Pancake House. The DoorDash orders from Eggs Up Grill. The Uber Eats order, 3 items from Pancake House, it showed an offer amount of $8.78. Okay, so we're talking at a minimum $18.78. And when you add this Dlivrd that order, which is going to pay a minimum of $31 in my guess, we're at 49, just we might as well say $50, right at about $50, and I've been out for about an hour and a half, and that is pretty much Gig Geezer pace. So you see, this is an example where it's providing a nice bump in my day, in which that is, I've not had to drive around looking for opportunities to get me to that amount of $31, whereas it's just one opportunity and I'm there. That's the strategy part of these catering / large order opportunities. These opportunities, when they do come about, when you're able to schedule them, particularly on the Dlivrd That app, and I'll even add the Dlivrd app, these opportunities allow you to at least mentally know that, okay, if I'm able to complete this order, then I know that I've got this amount coming in within my day, or in my case, a half hustle. And so that helps. Now, if you look here, and again, this may be something that I'll cover in the Gig Studio, and this just this week alone. I've had catering opportunities, large order opportunities, every single day this week. And that is the hope. Every day that I have at least one, maybe 2 catering opportunities, namely from Dlivrd That and possibly from Dlivrd. But also the large order opportunities as they come on the DoorDash app, they help as well. So when it's all said and done, it's not about what you do at that moment. What it's all about is what you do at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, and ultimately, since we're in October, going into November, at the end of the year. And so for me, coming into today, I was already at just south of $1,100 earned this week in 4 days. For the month, I have earned over $4,000, and we're talking working probably 17, 18 days this month, based on my calculation. And so I have averaged over $220 a day this month. And much of that has to do with large order program / catering order opportunities. In fact, on the DoorDash app, as you see here, at least with the last graphic that I had done earlier this week, the DoorDash accounted for almost 30%, the large order program on the DoorDash app accounted for almost 30% of my orders that I had completed on the app, and the amount earned at that time, or at that moment, about $800+ had accounted for almost half of what I had earned on the DoorDash app. All right, for as much as I talk about thirsties, there are those who probably would scoff at accepting an order that had a $7 base, but then had, according to the tip pool, a $24 at a minimum tip. You're talking about a $77 fucking order, okay? A $77 order. And if you see here on the inset, that was the order, one fucking bag. When you compare it to here, a $1,700 order in which I had all that fucking stuff in my vehicle. Hell, this is nothing, man. This one is nothing. And I'll be driving less than 10 minutes away, to hand this order to the person. I could use a breather for I could use a $31 breather, but also in the greater scheme of things, this actually is a decent bump to my first half hustle. And that's what I try to want to convey to you, the real things about large order programs / catering opportunities. Hopefully you will come up with a strategy that works for you. Hopefully you will have a realistic perspective about large order / catering opportunities as a result of checking out these segments of the Gig Geezer. Now, the next time I get back with you, it's going to be from the Gig Studio. All right, we are back at the Gig Studio, and what I want to do is bring you up to date, at least on that hustle. I finished that first half hustle, including the Deliver That order, at $97.61. I had opportunities on Instacart that totaled $21.30. I had that DoorDash opportunity that I described for $10. I had a Grubhub order that I completed for $14.90. And also 2 Uber Eat opportunities that totaled $18.87. And then to deliver that order, ultimately paid $32.46. That includes the tip pool. That brought me to $97.61. Then in the evening, and by the way, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer or in any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hey, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome the comments. Also, in the second half, my orders, in the second half, the hustle ended at $103.30. And before I get into the actual breakdown, I barely made it across the finish line, finishing at $200, and I finished at $200.91. The breakdown was I had another catering opportunity, and that was on the Dlivrd app. That one paid $45. Then I had an Instacart order that I completed for $16.32. I had a DoorDash order that I completed for $10.50. A Grubhub order for $12.79, and I had a stacked Uber Eats order for $18.69. Now, here are some numbers that I think that are more pertinent with the Dlivrd That app. I've mentioned already throughout this segment that these opportunities can and do provide a decent bump or a nice bump to your day, to your gig hustle, to your gig grind. And for me, it was a decent bump for each gig hustle. These numbers are from mid-June, when I was first onboarded onto the app, through October 19, and we're talking a total of 53 orders. The average order size for me on the Dlivrd That app has been $357.10. The average tip pool amount that I've seen is $21.50. The average money earned for each completed order has been $32.69. The largest payment I've seen on the Dlivrd That app has been $62.92. The smallest number that I've seen is $25.98. The largest order size that I've seen was $924. I was paid $39.26. The tip pool amount was $20.94. The smallest order that I've seen on the app has been $60.49. That order paid $27.48. The tip amount was $20.48. Or to compare apples to apples in terms of what I gave on the previous Gig Geezer segment, which you'll see here on this thumbnail, I mentioned the total number of orders in terms of dollar amount. I have completed over $18,930 worth of orders on the app. I've made altogether just south of $1,140 in tips. And altogether, I have earned just over $1,730 for those 53 orders on Dlivrd. Now, the one that I delivered on in this particular segment of the Gig Geezer, in which the order size was $77.49, was actually the second smallest one that I had completed for Dlivrd. Now, the biggest challenge that I have with Dlivrd is, and this may speak towards the more so about the market. By me being in the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area, it is not a large market for Dlivrd. And so there are stretches in which orders really aren't coming down the pike for this market. The other factor is that there is a challenge when trying to accept orders that may come across your screen. And I've gone into I've gone into some significant detail on this particular segment of the Gig Geezer, in which I described what you have to go through and what you have to go through on many occasions. Now, the other possibility is market saturation. And I don't know how many drivers there are active on the Dlivrd app, but I have run into other drivers who have completed orders on the app in this market. And so if there's a certain saturation level, and then there's a limited number of orders that are coming across, well, then that may explain too certain things. But then again, that's not a conversation that I have broached with Dlivrd. And by the way, if you are interested in pursuing being onboarded with Dlivrd, remember that you will have to provide a copy of your MVR, your motor vehicle record. In my state, South Carolina, it costs me $10 or $9.99. This is the information on the screen, at least the phone number that you would contact for Dlivrd. And also, this is a link that you can use in terms of signing up for Dlivrd app. One thing is for certain, though, the catering delivery market is very competitive. It doesn't matter where you are. And among your chief competitors are the in-house delivery operations, in which you have actual in-house delivery drivers for the actual merchant. And so Dlivrd is trying to get its share of business. Dlivrd is trying to get its share of business. Uber Eats is trying to get its share of business. Grubhub is trying to get its share of business. And of course, DoorDash is trying to get its share of the business as well. So that is all I have to share for this segment of the Gig Geezer. Again, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your hustle and may your grind continue.